This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenrail radio playlist. zenrailclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Portian Bakery. If you're located in the Portian area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Portian Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone could podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. All right, I was thinking about this because you were just showing me the video of the people like who are obviously, so basically they're like anti-vaxxers that agree with vaccinations, essentially. Like they don't realize. So like the specific one that you showed me was how Trump got the vaccines out there, but they're like pro Trump, but they're also anti-vaxxers. So they were like, oh yeah, like Trump's rhetoric is correct about like how the vaccines, you could like, you know how like Trump was saying like you should be free to make your own choice, but like we should also get the vaccines out there.
Yeah.
Right. But then at the same time, that person that you're showing was like, well, will you get the vaccine? And they're like, no. So it's like they're very pro-Trump, but they're also anti-vaxxers, which is like, it's like you're, I don't know, like you're far right, but also hypocritical in your actions, you know? Who's the guy that you were showing me, just in case people like hear this?
The video of the guy that was doing this, its name is Walter Masterson.
Okay, Walter Masterson. And that's his like shtick, right? He like,
yeah,
he says things that are obviously dumb, and he gets them to agree with how dumb they are, but then he shows that they're obviously disagreeing with something stupid. Like he's like, oh, why are you going to trust why would we trust science? He's like, yeah, why would we trust science, you know? And like
yeah that there was one, like he was walking, like as they were marching, he had one of those mic things, like I don't know what they call those, but it's like he was like yelling out, we don't trust doctors, we don't trust this. I have a good friend who's a roommate who's
musician or something.
Yeah, he's like a musician and he's a trainer, and he's got the information.
And it's like, wait, you have some random like, but it's like it's so obviously incorrect, but these people are like willing to jump to that gun.
And directly saying like I read it on Facebook, and it's like this,
which makes no sense, because it's like, who are these people putting this information out there as opposed to like the scientific experts, right? So what was baffling me by watching that video is realizing how sheepish we are as a society. You know, it's like we're very much so like the social media society, because like without this information getting out there, you know, but back in the day without social media, you would have had like less sources of information pushing an idea, right?
Yeah.
And what was the thing you're saying that Destiny was saying that like
all these alternate medias is what's really causing the problem. Yeah. That's just people talking about stuff that they don't know.
Totally. Okay. So I think it's it's like a double-edged sword. So I think it's social media for sure, but it's also the sheepish gullibleness of human beings.
Yeah.
You know, but not in like a bad way, because we're like a herd species. Like we look to each other for guidance, right? So one thing that happened today, and I noticed it too while I was training your brother, we were doing like boxing, and I was like, I need to put on the gloves and show you the move so that you can get it, right? Because like I'm telling you like the pad work movement, right? I'm holding for you and I'm like telling you what to do, but you're not doing it how it should be done. So I was like, okay, I put on the gloves, and then we were going back and forth, and then he started to emulate me, right? And it's like that. There's something in our brain, like mirror neurons, like we know what it is, right? But it's like the mirror neurons that are there, they really like guide the way, you know? And then there are like outliers like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, who like basically move in a certain way, and then other people start following them. Okay, Ray, you agree? Or right, you notice that too. So like I think that's the problem with this whole social media vax thing. Like we're all looking for some sort of leader, right, to like show us how to do things, right? So it's funny because today we're doing like these 1 minute competition things at jiu-jitsu. Okay, you were gonna say something?
Yeah. I mean, but in their eyes, it's like they're also thinking that they're doing their own research. Yeah, but the thing is, they don't understand what they're.
No, but that's what I mean. Reading. So it's like when you think you're free, like it really brings into question like the idea of free will. It's like, did you choose that, or did you like think you should have chose that? You know, but it. So like with these mirror neurons, you know, that like with like the combos, right? And your brother, me doing it made him understand how it should be done, right? So like there's those mirror neurons in our brains, but like we also have like the herd mentality because we're a group. But then we have another layer which is like, no, but I'm free to think. But it's like, but these are all like conflicting, you know? Like so yeah, so that's setting the stage. I thought this was pretty interesting at jiu-jitsu today. So we're doing these 1 minute competitions. And then the instructor Joel was like, oh, usually people, like in the past, people would pick either somebody lower rank or somebody smaller than them, right? So it's like, you're kind of cheating your way out of it. So I didn't want to go up because it's like, okay, like I don't really like to like go in front of the class, right?
Oh, right.
So basically we're all like standing there and then your two people are going to fight for 1 minute. So everyone's picking like around their same level. And then I knew he was going to pick me because like, I just had this feeling. So he picks me to like choose someone. And the first, like as I was leading up to it, I was like, I'm going to pick this brown belt that's right beside me. So I'm a white belt, he's brown belt. And like, he's so much taller, right? But then I was like, okay, that would almost be rude, you know? Because it's like, okay, obviously you're going to lose. Why'd you waste all of our time? Blah, blah, blah. Maybe you want to test yourself. So I was like, okay, I'll like do one of the things you said, which is like pick somebody the same height as me. So I like walk down and I choose this purple belt that's like roughly the same height. So I won't talk about how it goes. But what I noticed afterwards is all of a sudden the floodgates open and all the white belts just like me start picking higher belts. And I was like, oh, that's really funny. Yeah. It's like you need an example.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
It really does. Yeah.
And it's like really funny how everyone really looks to each other for the answer, but they think it's coming from them.
Yeah, you know what it reminds me of? This like, I don't know if I showed you that video where it was like these I think wildebeest.
Okay.
And then the lions.
Okay.
And the lion had captured one of the young ones.
Okay.
And then there was a herd of the wildebeest coming in, but like nobody wanted to take that like lunge towards the lion till someone did. Then others started to do the same.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, and I think it's like
it's kind of the same thing.
It's almost, and the only reason why I knew to do that is because I'm like really watch a lot of jiu-jitsu, and I'm like, okay, if you're gonna trust jiu-jitsu, like, it should work. So just do what you know, trust it, right? So it's like it doesn't matter if they're higher or lower than you, you know, because jiu-jitsu is jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But that was the mentality I was coming, because I'm like, okay, well, I read alternately other people's points of view. So it's like, did I choose that, or did they show me the way? You know what I mean? It's like it's this weird domino effect. But I guess we talk about that all the time about like free will. You know, it's like, did you really make the decision, or was the decision cast upon you?
Right.
But like
based on other things, other influences, or other things.
Like you know, your past, your physiological point at that moment. Another reason why I picked the higher belt is like, not just that, but I was like, they're not going to be spastic on me. Like if me and another white belt are going to go at it, because this would happen all the time at Carlos's, like, Carlos was a big fan of making us all stand there and then two people would fight. He just loved watching it. And every time two white belts would go at it, they don't really know anything, so they're just gonna go hard. It's like two Rams, you know. And I'm like, I don't want to get hurt, so I'm gonna pick the highest person. He should know the moves. Right. So I'm not gonna get hurt, you know. There's such a skill discrepancy that I have no worry that you're just gonna like spaz out on me and like break my leg, you know. So like that comes into account too. It's like, you know what I mean? There's so many factors at play in when you make a decision,
right,
that you don't understand in that moment unless you like are like super self-aware, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think like all the stuff that led up in your past. If there's so many things that involve in people's lives that
my
are
experience with Carlos. You know, it's like, but people don't even. Yeah, they don't even consider these things. Yeah, it's weird. And then. So if you live life without sentience, then you get a lot of the social media stuff that's happening with those people that are like that reporter, well, that comedian. He's more of a comedian than a reporter, but that comedian was like obviously saying something that if you were to watch this later, you're logically gonna be like, this is stupid. You're obviously saying the wrong thing. But like caught on camera, like in that moment, like they were so into their thing without giving any self-reflection to why they probably won't even find those videos or watch those videos, you know. They're like, no, I'm right, it doesn't matter, you know. So like, even if they were caught on camera like with the obvious hypocrisy, they're not going to be searching out that video,
right.
So they're almost like stuck in a loop, you know. And that's kind of like how society is now. It's very odd. Like you're really seeing, especially with the whole COVID thing, because before there was no like salient enemy or like salient problem. There's like wars and stuff, but like they're so complex that it's like,
I think wars and stuff, sure, but there was always something,
like
something that people stuck to, especially whenever like.
But what I'm saying is like, no, I agree with you. But what I'm saying is that with the COVID thing, it's the most easiest thing. It's like science.
Yeah, that is right now. Yeah, that's correct.
Because it's just science versus like no science. That's it, you know?
Yeah, which is funny.
Whereas like with those other things, like you have to kind of understand like microeconomics, trade relations, you know, like war, right? It's like even the Israel-Palestine thing, right? It's like, yeah, but there's so much complexity going on there. It's not just like good versus evil. It's very much gray, right. You know? Yeah. But that's a thing that whoever's arguing the side doesn't really matter because you can't really go into the specifics of it. Whereas like in those videos that you're showing me, it's like either you're going to trust like your friend who has no scientific background or you're going to trust science about getting the vaccine. Yeah. You know? and it really shows you that there are like levels of comprehension that we don't like. There's like levels of stupidity, I almost want to say, but it's like such a harsh thing to say, but you know what I mean? It's like, yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, they all, you know, people are all at different places in their lives, I guess. Some people get influenced by these different things. So like I was like a super left in the sense, like the Bernie stuff, right? But like if you really understand how things work, I'm gonna be more in the moderate side than necessarily that far left. Right. But that was like, that's what you were at. That's what was kind of like attractive to me at the time, right? Some of the, you know, but as you know, as time goes on, as you keep learning, and you realize, like the whole point is hopefully that people keep learning, that they realize.
Keep learning, yeah. But a lot of those people that you showed me in the video are really old. So
yeah, some people, yeah, like there are people like that because also a lot of them don't understand how internet works either.
That's the crazy
and they
thing. Dude, you know what's really interesting? So like anyone who like looks at social media and like anyone who references something that they saw on social media as being like a relevant fact doesn't understand how social media works. Like I'll do it too. Like I'll send you something and I'll be like, oh, this, but I don't read the article.
Yeah.
And then you'll like tell me like, oh, I read the article, this, blah, blah, blah. Like the real truth is this, right? But like, I understand that that's how that works. But what about the people that don't have like you as a resource to like look into it? Yeah. Or people who like think that whatever they read as a headline is the truth?
I mean, even I don't read everything, right? Sometimes, like I don't have time. I just see the headlines, and I can see how that can. If you're only always just reading headlines, then you're going to easily get influenced.
What if you don't even understand that headlines are meant to pull the reader in?
Exactly.
What if you don't understand that like there's also like agendas? Mm-hmm. You know, like who's paying for this? Mm-hmm. Like what is their position? But then that can also make you squirrely too, because then you're like, well, what do I believe in? You know, because then you're like, well, I believe nothing now. You know, there's
they can go to that line. Yeah.
that is the other negative of it. I don't know. I like.
Well, it's just the whole thing is everything is not that simple. Like it's really.
Yeah.
That's totally. I think that's the main
but that's the scary part though.
Yeah, it's things are not like simple. Like the Kamloops thing with the Native Indians.
Oh yeah. Go into that.
Right.
That's so fascinating.
Like that was because of all the push from the left media. I don't want to say left media, but it's like I get that more like the headlines, right? That 200 bodies were found and stuff like that. But like if you read the actual report and the videos there of the person who did the like GPR, which is ground penetrating radar, which like people don't really know what that means. If you see the image of it, you don't really see anything. You just see some anomalies. So they're like in the actual like video or the report, it just says like there's anomalies that seems to be like burials, but we don't 100% know unless we actually like open the ground.
It.
Yeah,
you're talking about the unmarked graves of the Native
the unmarked graves of the Native Indians. So it's like, but some areas is like they were just they knew that there were graves, but they didn't. It wasn't like it's like kept, well kept, I guess, and they're all unmarked, right? So it's like over time these things happen, and it's like we don't exactly. We know that there's some things there that we need to actually open up the ground and see what's exactly under there, right?
Yeah.
But then the headline was 200 bodies were found.
Yeah, totally. And then people freak out over the headline.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
where there's a whole nuance to the story, right? The kids died of like, I don't know what the diseases that they had at the time, right? And then these schools were like, because there were so many, of course, it's going to kill so many people, right? So it's like those sort of things are there, where it's like they would want to send the bodies back to the Native Indian places or their homes, but then they just couldn't send them back, right? So there's so many things involved in here that it's like, if you're just reading the headlines, you're going to, of course, fall for that there was 200 bodies found. Or it sounded like mass graves in the sense that...
It sounded like they were killing them and hiding the bodies.
That's right. Yeah. It's like...
that's the framing of it.
Yeah, that's generally the framing of mass graves, where it's like you just lined them up and you shot them all.
Yeah. And you buried them. That's the idea, but it's like, no, that's not what happened.
No, they were actually like... They were buried.
And then didn't you say that some of the chiefs like knew?
Sorry?
Some of the chiefs knew about it, but they just forgot within their like...
Yeah.
So that's another issue too. It's like they just lost.
Like it was, it was a cemetery.
Yeah, right, totally. Yeah. There's so much nuance to what you read, and like, for example, actually, this is so funny. I sent you that video of that person fighting, and then I sent it to, like, directly. My assumption was this is America. So I sent it to your brother, and I sent it to my sister, and then I was like, oh, it's crazy, and then I was like, I think this is America. But then I saw the number on the side and the name, and I was like, I should check where this actually is. But I was like, nah, I'm sure it's like somewhere in America. Why would we, why would they put that out there? And then you looked into it, it's South Africa.
Yeah.
Right. And it was like, but me initially spreading that, it's like a thought virus. It's like, oh, dude, this is probably somewhere in America. Then like Ravi.
Yeah, and that's and there's going to be many people that's going to do that too, right? It's just like they think this is in America somewhere.
Yeah,
that's
totally.
That's just the notion.
But then there are some crazy things that like worse things that are happening in America.
Sure, yeah. But it's like that's the reason why we think that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Like the general narrative is like America's going crazy. Yeah. So that's why I saw the video. I'm like, I'm sure this is. America.
But we were doing an assumption without realizing an assumption was made, right?
Totally, yeah. But that's the thing. That's like.
So these are like, I would say, like subconscious things. Sometimes people just see the video, they think it's just America, and it's like, you know what I mean? Like then if they see other videos, like they're gonna keep thinking that worse things in America.
Yeah.
Sure, there's bad things, but I'm just saying it's like this particular video is not from there.
Yeah, but that's what's crazy, right? But then the sentience of being like. You being like, oh, I should look into this. Where is it located? And then, it clears up that But like, again, how many people are doing that out there? How many people are like second guessing their own thoughts? I made this quote a long time ago, because when I was studying marketing, I was like, oh, this is the thing. It's like question everything, right? But then recently it's become like question everything, even questioning your own thoughts. Like even questioning the question itself. And people are like, what the hell does he mean? But it's like, no, you need to even ask, like, why are you questioning anything? Is it because I said it? You know?
Right.
Do you actually feel the need? You know? It's like, but then it's like a thought loop, and then you ultimately have to just let it all go. You know? Be like, okay, this really has nothing to do with me. It's something cool on social media. I was going to say that I like Tyler, the Creator's. I was watching an interview with him just now, and he was saying, like, how most people who complain online or like have a deep voice about something in specific, it's like, what are you doing throughout the day that you're not thinking about? He's like, when I wake up, I'm like, oh, I should eat something. Oh, I should call my parents back. Oh, there's this and blah, blah, blah. You know, he's never thinking like, oh, let me harp on this issue, you know? I mean, we do it, but like, that's our podcast, right? But like, or we'll talk about, we'll deconstruct it, but we're not really like, we're not like writing these long social media posts about the injustices.
Yeah, we're not
of the
like
world.
Necessarily emotionally involved, like emotionally impacted.
It's just like, oh, dude, this is crazy what's going on, you know? Yeah. But then you said something really fascinating, which is like, most people don't say anything. Like, you just like scrolled by. You're like, oh,
yeah,
cool.
90% of people just don't say anything.
It's the loud majority that you were saying.
Loud minority. Yeah.
Loud minority.
Yeah. That, you know, but they're, you know, they're probably in different types of, you know, we don't know what's in their lives and like what kind of mental health they're in, right? So these are the people that would generally be the ones replying and saying stuff, right?
But what's crazy is like social media gives them that platform
to
have a voice, and then now it sounds like you're an expert. You know, it's weird.
But it's the same thing. It's like, as you said, it could influence other people's thoughts too, because it's like, as you said, like when you went to a person higher belt than you, it's like, you just read someone from, you know, you read something. So it's like, that's influencing your thoughts too.
Without them even noticing. And I was like chuckling to myself. I'm like, that's so fascinating that just happened.
Yeah. Like, so that's the same thing that's happening with this. The ones who are replying, are, even though they're, you know, not necessarily mentally stable, let's say, but you who generally won't be replying or anything, it could influence your thoughts as you read it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Man, it's a weird time. It's a weird time. But like, I feel like we're gonna look back and be like, oh, we need some moderation on this thing. Like, you should, obviously you can't do it, but it's like,
I don't know if we can do that.
It's almost like social media education. Well, they have that now in schools. They have like social media education.
Yeah, I guess so. Something like that. Yeah.
I feel like you probably need that because there's too much out there.
There's way too much just believing in someone. I think we grew up with in school not necessarily believing in like, don't believe everything you read on the internet, right? Remember that line? It was like, true. So like, we were already a bit more skeptical getting into this. I think we were at the end of that.
But then we got born. Then the next
generation, everything, they're born in the social media world, where
so they think it's all fact.
Yeah.
It's weird too. It's like with the whole complaining thing. It's like, why do we feel the need to complain about everything and cancel everyone? You know, I don't know. It's just like, yeah.
So I think that's a very
see the Andrew Cuomo thing.
Oh yeah. But I understand what they mean when they say to cancel, because they don't want to platform somebody like that. But also then it stops the whole idea of forgiveness, or like where people can have a second chance and come back from learning from their mistake. So that stops them from doing that. So like when they attacked Kevin Hart, but he apologized.
It was like years ago.
Yeah, years ago. But even years ago, he apologized for what he had said. So it's like, but then that resurfaced again.
Yeah.
And then trying to cancel him, right? So it's like, that's not like the right way of dealing with things, because it's like, there should be a second chance.
Yeah. Also, who gets canceled? Like, what is the threshold for cancellation, too? Because Tyler was talking about how at one of these shows, these like festivals, he got kicked off the show, but he was like, the headliner says way worse things than me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're actually talking about like death and like killing people, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, why did I get kicked off? And it's, well, he's a freaking headliner, bro.
Yeah, but also probably at the time he was the one in the mainstream.
That's what I mean. Yeah, he's
right.
Like
so it's like
money.
where it could affect money. So it's like
yeah. So it's like even at the level of cancellation, it's like who decides?
Mm-hmm.
You know. Yeah, like was a Dundas Street thing? It's being switched.
Oh, the name. Yeah.
Pulling down statues, like, man, that's crazy. But maybe there's a point to it. I don't know. Can you see a point? I'm sure there's a benefit, but
yeah, like, I don't know. I like see this. The thing is, yeah, it is a bit extreme. You know, I don't know. Maybe there's no more this idea of, you know, non-violence movement kind of thing. You know, like. Yeah. Like protesting, but then they feel like the protesting isn't doing anything. So it's like they're taking some level of violence to it, right? To create some buzz or like attention towards it.
Like I guess the argument could be like, well, would you name a street like child murdering rapist? Like for like Dundas or whatever, right? Because like racist or something, right? Sure. It's like, but that isn't what we named the street, though. You know what I mean? So it's like I get. Well, no, I saw this one article where some places in North America, like Canada, I think, they had some really bad names. I can't remember them, but they were almost like that, like child murdering rapists, like kind of like that. Right. And I was like, why would you even? First of all, why would you even name that park that? You know. And like I agree with that, like changing those names, sure, but that's just a marketing problem. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah.
They're all just marketing problems to me. It seems silly to, or like, why even let that have so much power on you? Like, why are you gonna ruin your whole day because of this one thing? But then maybe it's those people with like OCD or something, and they just can't let it go.
Yeah.
They have a platform, you know. Now it's like. Yeah, I don't know. Like it's almost too easy to say.
Like it's the name online. Wasn't triggering. I mean, it's just a name. To us, it's just a name.
Yeah.
But I guess if you look into the history, the name is triggering to you. So those are the people that are.
But you can also find like negative things everywhere.
Sure.
So it's like, what's the threshold? Picking and choosing, you know. Yeah. We were talking about the movie Dogma because I tried to watch it yesterday, and I for me. If you haven't seen Dogma, it's free on YouTube, but it was no streaming platforms anywhere carry it. Something about like the legalities of it, but anyways, it was a very anti-Catholic thing, and I saw it when I was a little kid, and it was so like iconic to me, right? But then I tried to play it for Terry yesterday, and she got bored, and I'm like, oh, it's because you don't know the people. Right, I'm sure if I played it for you, you'd be like, "Oh, that's cool," but it would hit different. Yeah. But it's because I grew up Catholic, so everything they're talking about, and like, she didn't go to church every Sunday. You didn't go to church every Sunday. What they're straight up saying is like the hypocrisy of Catholicism and like the ridiculousness of it. And yet, millions of people still practice it. Billions of people. Like. If we're going to talk about Dundas, why don't we talk about the freaking Christian Crusades? You know what I mean? Like, who picks and chooses? It makes no sense. It's like, okay, this one's really bad, but this one will get away with because of a business reason, you know?
Right.
Because the Catholic Church pulls in a lot of money.
It's whatever has attention at the time. And at the time, it was like people were like slave owners and things like that, so...
But there's so many injustices throughout history, so it's like
right. But it's like what's pop at the time, right?
Yeah, true.
So it's like, you know, with the Black Lives Matter and everything. So it's like Dundas is kind of connected with that.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think I don't know if he owned slaves or he not owned slaves. Maybe it was like he hurt the or it took longer to, you know, pass laws that would make like free the slaves or something like that. Okay. I don't remember exactly.
Look, come on, bro. This is the past. Like,
yeah. So they don't want to commemorate his name. Like, we should get rid of it.
But here's the crazy part. It's like, how come the Catholic Church gets forgiveness from cancel culture, but Kevin Hart doesn't? He put out one tweet. Catholicism literally created genocide.
I wonder if it's
the Dark Ages,
yeah. I wonder it's.
Think about that.
Yeah.
They created the Dark Ages, where they'd kill people because of science, because they're like, no, there's only one God. This science thing's blasphemy. That was the Christian religion. Where's the cancel culture? But like Kevin Hart puts out some homophobic tweets,
which he had to apologize for.
And like, I don't know, maybe the Catholic Church apologized for it, or
I don't know.
Think about the hypocrisy.
But it's been 1,000 years, right, or like longer. I don't know of their existence in. Because I mean, technically, anything what they did, anything what they did, yeah, but it's like anything what they did, right? The Spanish bringing the religion to South America, right?
Yeah.
So it's like they converted all of those people. So it's like
what about that, and like if you actually look at what the Spaniards did, it was like terrible through history. Like they would like fully kill children and rape women.
Right.
We don't talk about that. You know why? Because they didn't get to that part in Google yet.
Well, they're talking about that as those people did it, but they wouldn't necessarily connect it to.
They didn't hit that page in Wikipedia, bro. They didn't read that far in yet.
Right.
Because like, come on, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's just hypocrisy all around.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But you know why? It's because faith. It's because it's beyond worldly things. Kevin Hart is just a man.
Who's, what do you call, like flesh and being, like he's here, he's alive.
Whereas like the Christian Crusades were for ethereal things beyond Earth. Like, that's so dumb. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's really, religion is a really
touchy subject.
Yeah, touchy subject to, I don't know. Yeah, people really feel offended when you talk about these things. Yeah,
totally. So. I'm sure somebody's gonna hear this. Maybe I'll make this even into a clip, and then they can like listen to it, and they'll get so triggered. But yeah, that would be so fascinating. It's like you only cancel famous people. Like, I'm sure there's a YouTube channel out there that's like super racist, whatever, but they're not being taken down. Because they don't have that many subscribers yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, the only way to get people taken down is to report them. Anyways, so.
So there you go. And like, most people don't even report it. They just don't watch that video. But like, it's the loud minority that goes on a reporting spree. Crazy. What do you think about these COVID passports?
I kind of agree with them, actually.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
but I think that's only because we agree with vaccinations and we're vaccinated. Dude,
no, but that's the thing, though. No. But it's like, I did my part. Yeah, we got the vaccine and everything. So how can the person who didn't get a vaccine be free to go around?
Yeah, dude, we were saying that. Remember
I remember you saying this. Yeah,
like with the it's like a group project. Why are we all going to get an A?
Yeah,
we did our part, bro. What about you? Dude, I was gonna say, it's so funny in the elevator. There's somebody who, they have like one person per elevator kind of thing. So he forgot something. So I was coming back just now, and then he forgot something in his room. And he's like, "Don't worry about it. Like, you can come into the elevator." And I was like, "All right, cool, thanks." And then he's like, "Are you vaxxed?" As we were going up, he's like, "Are you vaxxed?" I'm like, "Yeah, double vax." And he's like, "Yeah, me too." And I'm like, "Yeah, but like, some people aren't, and you don't want to offend anyone, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "We should all get bracelets." And I was like, "Yeah, we should." But the first thing I was like, COVID passport, bro. That's what that's for. like,
exactly.
Way more overt.
No, but that's the thing. The reason
down for that, though.
The way that I heard it on the radio it made sense. It's like, we need to hit, like, sure, we're getting 80%, but we need to get everyone vaxxed, right? So it's the incentive would be like, well, you can't really enter this restaurant because you don't have the vaccine. So so like it's kind of like encouraging them to. It's like, I don't want to deal with this, so I'll just get the vaccine.
Yeah, it's like mandatory without being mandatory. It's like you're forcing their hand. It's like, all right, cool, you don't have to do it, but just stay home. You're like, damn, I can't just stay home. so you get it.
Yeah.
But like, again, if you're afraid of it, just get Pfizer, bro. There's no, it's like I didn't get any side effects really. It's aside from being sleepy, but whatever.
Well, you get whatever. But
no, I mean, like, if you're like, I just want the best one. What's the best one? All right, sure, get Pfizer, bro. Like that seems to be the one that's the least side effecty.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, like, out of all of them, right? Like, it seems like with the Johnson & Johnson, they have those blood clots. Moderna seems to make people sick. Pfizer, I don't really know too many people who've gotten sick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anyone, actually, who's gotten sick from a double Pfizer.
But it means, wait, what do you mean by sick?
Oh, actually, Tara. No. She got sick. Yeah, she got sick. But not, like, crazy sick.
No, it's just like, but that's just normal, right?
Yeah. Just your body.
I've seen other people have, like a flu or whatever, or a temperature.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
Okay, so, but, like, when Joe Rogan's talking about, like, oh, he knows people who've gotten the vaccine, they got really, really sick, or, like, they have some issues, like, some people die or whatever, and it's like, what? But it's like, which vaccine are you talking about, though? Like,
yeah, but also it's like these are very, very
rare.
Even with the blood clots, super
knows,
rare.
Like 13 people, he knows like a ton of, like 13 is pretty.
That's a pretty high number.
That's a pretty high number.
But
who've been like seriously affected. But it's like, what one did you get?
Yeah.
So, what I mean?
But it's like that's all so anecdotal, though. It's like, what does it actually mean? What was it specifically?
No, but even if it's anecdotal, it's like, okay, let's break that number down further. So
sure, yeah. I know. I'm just saying. It just seems like in our circle, a lot of people have had it. It's like,
no. A lot of people I know got sick from the mixing.
No. But I don't know. I don't know if he's talking. Is he talking about just that level of sickness, or is he talking about something else? You know what I mean?
Oh, he said some people like what do you say, like long-term issues from it. I also listened to it, like some UFC fighters I think he got like Johnson & Johnson, he got super sick, or Moderna,
yeah, it's like you really got to talk about, yeah, like what did they get? But also it's like there's so many things to it, like people are talking about it who don't have any actual like knowledge about these, like understand what these things mean.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, we're just talking offhand here.
Yeah, that's true. It goes back to the thing we were saying in the very beginning.
But that's what I'm saying, is like there should be only certain people talking about this because it's like they have the knowledge and backing for it, whereas like other people are just talking. It's like you don't have all the information, you don't really understand it.
You know what's weird? Do they trust highway people? Do they trust the gas person? Do they trust like the merchant? Like, are they just distrusting? If they're distrusting of everything, it makes sense. But if they weren't, it's like, so like if they go into a store and they see the price and they don't argue about the price, they're like, I don't think it should cost that much. I don't trust you. If they don't do that, it's like, so where do you draw the line? Just because of vaccinations?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, but if they were
like,
just
are you always in a debate with somebody every time?
Yeah, like you were saying, like the people that don't want to get vaxxed, but it's like, oh, but they're also vegan and they're also like holistic. And they don't do anything. It's like, okay, that's part of your character. But like,
you go eat McDonald's, you go.
yeah. So it's like, it makes no sense. If you like, if that's a part of your, dude, I saw this one video of this one guy who like, and I was like, I totally agree with this. It was on 6Buzz. He was like, he's like, be an anti-vaxxer all you want, but don't switch sides. So don't go to the hospital if you're getting really, really sick from COVID. Because it's like, right? It makes no sense. Like, you're going to tell everyone, oh, shouldn't get vaxxed. Because then you're seeing on the news all these, like, people, anti-vaxxers getting really, really sick. Yeah. And they're like, oh, I wish I got the vaccine. It's like, no, you die now. You know what I mean? Because, like, well, that's what he's saying. And I'm like, I agree with that. It's like, don't switch lanes. Like, if you're so into it, be that way till the end, bro. But I guess that's the always learning thing that we just talked about. Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know until you're actually in it. And that's a lot of people, of those types of people, I would say. But then
what do those anti-vaxxers say about those people that get really, really sick and they wish they got the vaccine?
What do they say about them?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're plants, bro.
Yeah. They won't believe it's true.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would suck to be a politician right now. Because you're dealing with so much like misinformation, pseudoscience, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you look into the Lambda variant at all? I know you're saying it's like it's been there since the beginning, but
no, I didn't look into it too much. It's just another variant, right?
Okay. I don't know if this is misinformation, but on the Joe Rogan podcast, Andrew Schultz was talking about how the vaccines don't work for Lambda, and I'm like, oh, that could be an issue, but also he's not an expert, so.
And yeah, but also like, where did you get that information from?
Totally, yeah, exactly.
Like, who said it's not working for
That's
Lambda?
why I opened with he's not an expert.
Yeah, exactly. But if he's going off based on what's happening in South America, because their case numbers are going up, because that's where Lambda variant originated from.
Peru.
Right.
They checked it out.
And they have like a high, or they were going through a vaccine. They got the vaccine. I think it's mainly Sinovac that they're using.
Oh, so it's what vaccine, bro?
Yeah. So I think Sinovac is what they're using, but also the Lambda variant was spreading, probably already or just before the spreading, like of the vaccine movement happening, right? So it's like, where exactly did you get this number of it's not working against Lambda? Because anything I've read, it's just like it seems like most of the variants have been.
And it's like, again, what vaccine? So it's like not all vaccines were made the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, question everything. So important.
Like we just say the term vaccine, but it's like, well, that was Sinovac or that was Sputnik V. And like, explain it clearly which one it is that they have, or at least the majority that they have, right?
So it's like, be like, don't get that one,
right?
You know.
And it's like, okay, look at the UK, and then they have some high numbers of Delta, but then their major vaccination that they did in the UK was AstraZeneca.
Oh, so there you go.
So their AstraZeneca is generally a little bit less effective with Delta, and then Pfizer's still pretty good with Delta, right? So it's like,
shit, I just got Pfizer. What happened?
Well, they can't just make so many. So.
Totally, but see, like, consider these facts now.
Well, AstraZeneca was a UK thing, right? It's Oxford AstraZeneca.
Oh. But still, again,
that's why it was mainly used over there.
But again, you gotta consider everything now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, strange times.
Because they're still like coming up with the information of like how well, how well the vaccines work to specific variants, right?
Yeah,
so it's
totally.
like, like Pfizer and AstraZeneca are the ones that are on the top list that I keep seeing the numbers for.
Oh, even Moderna is like.
I haven't seen too much information on the Moderna.
People aren't going for it,
or at least it's not on my feed. But
okay. Yeah.
Not that they're not going for it. I think the studies are still being made, right?
Oh yeah, right. That makes sense. Yeah. And I guess the other thing that I saw recently. But you didn't see anything on this, which is fascinating, about the climate change.
Maybe I was busy that day. I don't know.
The red, we're in like the red zone according to the UN. So basically, like, I guess there's no turning back, and we're kind of done.
Well, then what's the point?
So why even tell us, bro?
I just don't think it's that. I get it. Sometimes you got to look at which media, and are you actually reading the article? And they're also just a lot of times broadcast media is also trying to attract an audience here to
I guess
bring in people.
It's Canadian news and
I know
CNN,
it's still it's like what, like, I don't know. Yeah, because I didn't really come across it.
It could just be fear mongering stuff. Well,
I don't want to say, because there is some level of legitimacy to these places.
Look at the fires. That's almost like denying climate change. If we say it's fear mongering, it's like, no, there's definitely climate change.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, we know that there seems to be a connection to, like, we got a lot more fires coming out this year than previous years.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, there's probably a connection here to this climate change. So,
scary time. It almost, I said this before, but I mean, it's totally cool. Like, if you want to have a kid, sure, do whatever. But like, it just seems so hectic to like bring one into the world. For me, it's like, it's like.
I think every generation has been saying that, though. We'll see.
Well, I would say maybe not the Old West, because they didn't really have news. You know what I mean? Like, it's really just like.
Well, it wasn't an easy life, though.
Yeah, but you needed hands to help you. On
Sure,
the farm,
yeah, but it
right?
wasn't thinking about like kids' future. It's more like.
But now we were at an affluent place to think about our kids' future, and it's just like, ooh, it's looking kind of dire. According to the news, it's looking kind of dire. Unless we off-world, that could be cool.
Yeah.
So like,
which might happen, you know. They got that the new SpaceX rocket all set up.
Yeah. Elon Musk doing the work of God. So, what do you think?
He's creating the Ark.
Yeah, dude, maybe. Yeah, for real. That's so funny. He is creating the Ark, two of every kind. Yeah. Well, no, it won't even be that anymore. It's just DNA.
Yeah. But that's maybe that's the Ark. I don't know. Yeah, it's the new Ark.
Yeah, the Ark 2.0.
Yeah.
Because there's been like world catastrophes throughout time, so we're just hitting ours. Like Noah.
Mm-hmm.
Like world catastrophe. But Noah's not even localized to Christianity. It's like it's been in the Sumerian texts for a while. I forgot the person's name. Dionysus.
Mm-hmm.
Or
The
like
massive flood, right? The whole
the
world. Yeah.
It's like in all religious texts. So Armageddons have happened throughout history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what did you think of Suicide Squad? You loved it?
I forgot. I really liked it.
Yeah, James Gunn.
Yeah, James Gunn. I think he did a pretty good job. It just felt like had the Guardians of Galaxy feel, but with the R-ratedness.
Yeah, it was super R-rated. But see, like I was saying to you before, I didn't know if it was good or bad because it was so well made, but it was so ridiculous. So I was like, is it a good movie or is it a bad movie? You know, do I take this seriously? Because if I took it seriously, then it's a bad movie.
Well, I don't know. What do you mean seriously? Like other DC movies serious type? Or I felt it was more of a comedy.
Right. But that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It was like the comedic aspect of it. The comedic aspect of it threw me off.
Yeah, I understand, but I think that's why I like the DC, because it's like you can be super serious with DC, especially with the Joker.
Yeah, true.
Joaquin Phoenix Joker was like very grounded in reality, right? So it's like I think even the new Batman's going to be like
Christopher Nolan's Batman was also
grounded in reality. So we've been used to these sort of things, but it's also like
true. Maybe so that's what I was saying. I got to watch it again to like see from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm. I felt it was more on the fun side, and just enjoying the ride kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's what I felt, and I really liked it in that aspect. And I like the way the way they started it. It was like all these characters coming in, and then they all like died. It's like so it's like that's what threw me off. It's like, oh wow, so like that's I think why I liked it more was like, oh, people's lives are at risk here. Like the other one,
right? You never know.
I felt like I didn't feel like at any point in that movie anybody was at risk of dying,
or any movie, period.
Yeah,
not many movies do that,
right? But that's what kind of why I liked it. That it did that. I mean, they kept the main characters like Harley and that soldier guy. So it's like,
I gotta watch it again. I gotta really think of it more like this is a comedy than something super serious.
Yeah. I don't think they're going for anything serious.
Yeah, but it was really well made. I'll give it that. I guess maybe I was looking at it from the wrong lens. So maybe I'll love it if I just look at it like, no, this is funny,
I like
I
liked certain aspects of it where it was like it's quite jokey. There are parts of it where when they go into their backstory, it's a bit more like serious.
Yeah.
Like why they're in that position that they're in.
That's what I mean. So it was like throwing me off. I was like, okay, some parts were serious, some parts were jokey.
So I think that's what he was trying to do, which was like kind of have a fun ride, but then here pull out your heartstrings a little bit here. So
that's what I mean.
Pull out them here,
like
and then
off so hard.
Yeah, I think that's why I liked it in the general aspects of it.
And also, like, why was Harley Quinn so invincible?
Yeah. So like when I saw that, I was like, I kind of like this is a different depiction of Harley. I'll let this. Yeah. This seems like a fun Harley, so I'll let this go. Like I like this Harley.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah, very Birds of Prey. You were saying.
I mean, that's. I think that's where he was getting a lot of the ideas from, and I like the whole like the flowers coming out as she was killing people.
Dude, all right, so but see, that's what I mean. Like,
that was amazing. Yeah.
Like, your brother loved it. Me and my sister were both like, what is
this, but that's
bro?
like from her perspective, it's like she is a crazy person. And this is what she sees.
But see, okay. See, here's the problem with the movie. It makes you assume that without telling you
Sure,
that.
yeah.
So, no, like with the flashbacks, like we were saying, it was hard to read, or like when they created different chapters, it's like there's this new like project whatever became Project Harley. You couldn't even really read the font, so it was like, what?
Yeah. So I guess there are certain aspects that you can criticize on, right? Which was, I agree. It's like the placement of some of these things was like in the beginning too, it's like 3 days later. I couldn't really read that right away.
That's what I mean.
Right.
So
and then
so thrown off.
Yeah. And then it was like the way they were using the words. If they just gave it to you spelled out properly.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Sure. But I guess this was
But that's what I mean.
It was an artistic style that may not have worked.
But that was the thing that threw me off, because it was like,
no.
They made that assumption that you understood that, like, the font, like, I guess the best analogy is with the font. It's like, you have to, like, they're doing something so artsy with the font, they assumed you could read it. So it's like, the movie was so ridiculous, but also serious at the same time. They assumed you could understand where they were going with it, but it's like, no, I need you to drive me through this.
Right.
I guess maybe some people got it like
but I think why he wanted to add that seriousness, because these are all supposedly bad guys. So why are they bad guys?
But why was it so funny too? So it's like,
right, yeah.
But like, it's
that's why it's like the Guardians of the Galaxy feel, where they're all supposed to be bad guys, right?
But in that one, it still had like a straight tone. So it's like, okay, we understand what's going on here, but like going back and forth too much was like throwing me off.
Right. That was, I can give that criticism too. Yeah, where it was like 3 days later, or it's like, oh, meanwhile Harley. It's like doing these.
But that's why now I need to watch it again, but be like, no, this is a silly movie, not a serious movie.
Yeah.
But like they portrayed it serious in the beginning, especially with the deaths. It was like very serious.
Yeah, but I still felt there was something jokey with that, the way that it was done.
But that's what I mean. But it's like you can read the font, but it's like you can't really read the font.
Right.
So it's like I was confused. Like, is this a serious movie or is it a joking movie? You see what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But
it's like if you just wrote the font correctly, I'd be like, okay, I get this movie.
Right. But I think that's what it was like. This is just a fun movie, just nothing.
No, but that's
don't believe it to be super.
I didn't.
Right, I get it. I get that. Yeah.
I was like,
but I felt that right in the beginning when they all died. I knew what kind of movie this is feeling. Like I see what they're trying to do. Like it wasn't.
But totally, I agree with you.
Because especially killing them right off in the beginning, it's like, okay.
But it was also so well made that I was like, well, okay, so you're not making it so jokey. Like usually if it's a jokey movie, it's not as well made as this one. They made this like it was like phenomenally made visually.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's why I was confused. Again, it's like, why would you make this jokey but so well made? You know?
Yeah, and with serious parts here and there. Yeah, but overall, I enjoyed the ride of it. So.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to watch it again as just like this is just a fun ride. We're just gonna go on a fun ride. Yeah. What's your rating?
I'll give it an 8.
8? Okay, cool. Yeah, I think your brother gave it like a 9. I was like,
yeah, I think he loved it even more than me.
Yeah, he loved it. When he left the movie, he's like, oh no. Here's the crazy part too. I fell asleep because like at 2 points because I was like, I don't understand this movie, so I just fell asleep. And then I asked like my sister, and she's like, oh, I fell asleep too. Your brother didn't fall asleep. So I was like, okay, what are you guys seeing that we're not seeing, bro? Like, that's why I gotta watch it again.
Right.
Can't score it. Next week I'll give it a score.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Any final thoughts?
Great movie. Go check it out. That's all I can say.
It's digital as well? No.
It's on HBO Max, but that's mainly in America, and theaters everywhere else, I think.
Oh, okay. So yeah, go see it in theaters if you can't see it online. All right. It's Easy Fish.
Yeah. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors, Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, Fish.
Peace.